Again, good afternoon, everyone. We are beginning with our next thematic session on harvesting efficiency, transforming India's cold chain through sustainable pack houses, co-curated with UNEP. Uh, Starting our session, I would like to welcome our moderator, Mr. Anshuman Siddhant, Sustainable Cold Chain Expert, UNEP. Next on stage, I would like to invite Shri Arijit Sen Gupta, Director, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Next on stage, I would like to invite Dr. Khushbu, Principal Research Associate, AEEE. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Madhvendra Thakur, President, Mithila Union Vegetable Federation. Next, I would like to invite Shri Sumit Singh, Advisor, National Cooperatives Union of India. So, beginning our session, I would now like our moderator for the session, Mr. Anshuman Siddhant, to start the session. The stage is all yours.
Thank you. A very good afternoon to all the delegates, friends and colleagues, and I think it's my privilege to welcome you in this session of harvesting efficiency and transforming India's cold chain through the sustainable pack houses. As we gather today under this energy efficiency and decarbonization banner, uh, today's discussion is about bringing together the critical gaps uh, in India and agriculture supply chain and how the integrated pack house as a whole is a missing link within the whole coal supply chain. So just to set a context of what is the current scenario of the agriculture and horticulture production at this juncture in India is almost 370 million metric tons, which is very huge. And if you look at the kind of post-harvest losses that is happening, even after of such a huge production, is almost 30%. Even if you look at the doubling farmers income report of the Ministry of Agriculture and other reports, it acknowledges that there is a huge losses happening in the fruit and vegetable sector, and also many reports are saying that the losses can range from right from 4% to 44%. So I think there is a huge drive that how this can be solved by the introduction of end-to-end cold chain, which is also energy efficient and also sustainable. So looking at the current studies, you might have gone through the India Cooling Action Plan, and there is this projection that by 2037 we'll require almost 1,25,000 pack houses, which are to be installed at the farm gate level, which are the first mile infrastructures which are actually catering to the cold chain. If you look at the whole cold chain, pack house is at the starting point, and then it connects through transport and distribution and cold storages, and finally catering to the consumers. But here we have to see that how this gap can be sustainably met. If you look at through the efficiency and sustainability lens, we actually we need to focus on the energy efficiency and a climate smart performed cold chain, where pack house plays a critical role. And also looking at the design of a sustainable pack house, we need to focus on its orientation and insulation and airflow, and also the right sizing. So it all depends on how the technologies like renewable energy integration and low GWP refrigerants like ammonia that are integrated into the cold chain systems in the pack house, so that the whole system in itself become efficient and clean. And as we are supposed to go into this next juncture of India's transformation as per the alignment with Viksit Bharat 2047, we need to focus on the sustainability aspects more and see how even the farmers and the livelihoods of the farmers and the community is taken care of, and how the food loss and the GHG emissions are actually brought down to a considerable level. If I talk about numbers, uh, at global level, the GHG emissions from food loss and waste itself is 4.4 gigatons of CO2 equivalent, which is huge and which is around 8% of the total GHG emissions. If you look at, with a lens of cold chain, lack of cold chain and the energy used in the cold chain systems, this is almost 4% GHG emission of the total global. So I think we need to really think about more sustainable models and sustainable technology integrations into the cold chain system, and make the pack house as a first point, source point of a cold chain environmentally friendly. And with this context, today I would like to invite our esteemed panelists here, where we have delegates from policymakers, cooperative leaders, industry experts, and farmer representatives. I would like to invite uh, all our panelists, Mr. Arijit Sengupta, Director, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, uh, Mr. Sumit Singh, Advisor of National Cooperative Union of India, and Mr. Madhavendra Kumar Thakur, President of Mithila Union, and Khushbu Gupta from AEEE, who is a Principal Advisor. So with this, let's start the questions. My first question I would like to ask Mr. Arijit, is to Arijit, as the push to develop pack house increases, how is BE looking at mainstreaming energy performance benchmark minimum efficiency standards for pack house infrastructure?
Thank you, Anshumanji, and my dear panelists. Also, I'd like to thank AEEE for inviting the Bureau of Energy Efficiency in this important discussion and giving us an opportunity to share our views. As far as Bureau of Energy Efficiency is concerned, of course, most of you are aware of what we are doing in this area of appliances, building codes, or be it industries. This is one area where we have started working in the recent past, I would say. In the last 3-4 years, we have been actively engaging with both UNEP and also with AEEE to implement some of the recommendations which have been given in the India Cooling Action Plan. And we believe that making the cold chain more energy efficient will play a crucial role in insofar as achieving our Viksit Bharat goals are concerned, and also the ultimately the net zero by 2070 goals. So in this, I would say, area of cold chain, what the Bureau of Energy Efficiency has done is we have come up with a labeling program for refrigerant compressors, which are exclusively used for cold chain applications. We are also trying to kind of come up with walk-in cold room labeling program for walk-in cold rooms. At this moment, we're waiting for the BIS to come up with the standards, and then we would also like to have a similar kind of a program. And apart from the pack house thing, we're also like trying to see if we can come up with a perform, achieve, and trade, like not a trade, but maybe a perform and achieve kind of a scheme for the larger cold storages. But if we look at the India Cooling Action Plan and the gaps which have been identified thereon, we could see that the majority of the gaps lies in the ripening chambers and pack houses. Although in the country we have like almost 85 to 90% of the cold storages in place. But without this other things like reefer transport or ripening chambers or pack houses, the entire cold chain, the supply chain won't be complete. And that's why back in 2021-22, we started working with the World Bank initially, where AEEE was like helping us in developing a report on the pack house segments. And that's how, I mean, we also got in touch with Anshumanji and others in his earlier avatar of N double city. We are continuing to work with NCCT as well now. And that's how we prepared a report on pack houses, which was well kind of accepted by the industry and other stakeholders. And subsequently, we have already developed these guidelines for pack houses. So these guidelines have been, of course, prepared along with UNEP and AEEE. And although these are not yet made public, because initially we had shared it with NCCD for inclusion in their guidelines. We do understand that some of the features have been included, but now based on our recent discussions at the highest level of the government, it has been decided that we will also come up with our own guidelines, which will focus more on the energy efficiency part of it. And so very soon we expect that we will be able to come up with the guidelines. And I guess there's a small presentation also about the guidelines, so I will not go into details. But broadly, the guidelines also highlight what are the energy efficient practices that are required for an energy efficient design of the pack houses. What could be the savings, energy savings that one can get out of it. As per initial estimates, we're almost anticipating something like 36% of electricity savings and 36% of reduction in the GHG emission if we are able to go for the energy efficient pack houses, what we are talking about. The numbers we have already heard from Angshumanji that right now, presently, the numbers are something around 500, 600. And as per the ICAP projections, these numbers are going to go up to 1,25,000. So I would pause here and would give you back to you.
Thank you, Arijit ji, for your intervention. And with this, my second question is directed towards Mr. Sumit Singh, advisor and CUI. And Sumit, could you, answer this, that could cooperative-owned energy-efficient pack house becomes a new form of rural infrastructure, similar to dairy chilling centers in the past by NCUI?
Thank you. As you all may be aware, National Cooperative Union of India, we are like the apex body of all cooperative societies, the cooperative movement in India basically. And the core part of this cooperative movement is the farming network. So we have a network of around 1 lakh cooperative societies. And based on the recent assessment which has been done by Ministry of Cooperation and my organization, we have around 65,000 packs which are functional, which are doing business and which are into farming related activities. So there the core challenge is always how to enhance value at the source. So enhancing value also in terms of proper warehousing, processing solutions. If we see in the state of UP, we have got around 1,000 horticulture cooperatives, under the network of HOFED. So there also we have developed a very robust marketing network. There are it's called new vegetable sales stores at every block. But the challenge is how to ensure that, these perishable goods like fruits and vegetables especially, they are able to, stored well, so that, the farmers don't have to go for distress sales. So National Cooperative Union of India, we are working with German Development Cooperation, we are working with the Department of Fisheries, we are working with the Ministry of Skill Development to see how we can augment this cold chain network, supply chain network as well, and also to see that we are able to generate that demand. The challenge is that the farmers or the cooperatives or the packs, at this stage, many of them, they don't understand the real value which will come once they are able to install and commission these kind of, solar powered or, even conventional powered, warehouses. So we are trying to generate that demand. In addition to that, for the last 1 year, I'm serving as a member Trade and Business Committee, International Cooperative Alliance. So there also we have networked with the cooperative departments, the federations, the concerned government departments of various countries. And for example, in Thailand or Sri Lanka, Kazakhstan. So we are trying to see how we can promote this kind of sustainable technologies, approaches in the interest of the farmers and cooperatives. So definitely the whole solar powered infrastructure or the cold chain network is going to upgrade and empower the rural economy, through this rural infrastructure. And we have a long way to go. It's just an emerging areas, and because this government of India has launched the world's largest grain storage plan, and it is currently being implemented. So that is also one reason why this whole area has come into limelight, and I'm sure in the next 5 years, many of these cooperative federations, in many of these so-called underdeveloped regions, they are going to adopt this cold chain network. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sumit. It's good insights that you have provided from the cooperative sector. And talking of cooperatives, we have amongst ourselves Mr. Madhavendra Thakurji, who is also a leading, farmer cooperative from Bihar, where actually UNEP and AEEE has provided support and on a pack house, which is a net zero pack house, which is the first of its kind in India. It's going to be catering to almost 50,000 farmers and bringing livelihoods and of increased income, and also connect to the markets not only in Bihar but also outside Bihar. So my question to Madhavendra Thakurji is that from your experience, how can a well-designed pack house improve handling, reduce spoilage, and add value to vegetable farmers at village levels?
Thank you, Ansumanji. Thank you, AEEE. एक्चुअली इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट के रियल बेनिफिशियरीज हम लोग हैं, और बिहार में बिहार राज्य सब्जी प्रसंस्करण विपणन योजना की पूरा का पूरा एक इकोसिस्टम बिल्ड किया जा रहा है फॉर द वेजिटेबल ग्रोअर्स ओनली. और nowadays we have something around 534 primary vegetable cooperative societies, and all the primary vegetable cooperative societies are associated with more than 1 lakh of farmers. और AEEE का जो पहला इनिशिएटिव था मिथिला यूनियन के साथ, जिसमें हम लोगों ने 2 स्टेजेज में 10-10 मीट्रिक टन के कोल्ड रूम्स लगाए हैं, और उसका एक रियल बेनिफिट तब हम लोगों को वो मिला है जब उसकी पूरी प्रॉपर मॉनिटरिंग AEEE, मिथिला वेज यूनियन और द अल्टीमेट बेनिफिशियरी, ये तीनों लोग जब एक साथ एक फोरम पे आए हैं, तब जाके वो एक बेनिफिट नज़र आया है. कोल्ड रूम बिहार में बहुत सारे हैं. बड़े कोल्ड स्टोरेज की बात करें तो भी हमारे यहाँ शायद देश का सबसे ज़्यादा डिफंक्ट कोल्ड स्टोरेज हो सकता है हमारे यहाँ हो, किसी न किसी वजह से. ऑलमोस्ट 200, 5,000, 2,500, 3,000 मीट्रिक टन के कोल्ड स्टोरेज डिफंक्ट टाइप के. लेकिन ये छोटा सा इनिशिएटिव एक बहुत बड़ा चेंज ला सकता है और लाया है. ज़रूरत हम लोगों ने अभी जो नेक्स्ट प्लान किया है विद द हेल्प ऑफ AEEE और यूनेप के हेल्प से, हम लोगों को वो एक लाइट हाउस प्रोजेक्ट अभी DPR के रूप में मिला है, जिस पे हम लोग आने वाले टाइम में जिसको पूरा पैक हाउस लगाने के लिए हम लोग प्रयासरत हैं. डिसीजन मेकर्स, पॉलिसी मेकर्स के तरफ से वो डिस्कशन का एक हिस्सा है. तो निश्चित तौर पे पैक हाउस अभी बिहार में जो 2 पैक हाउसेस लगे हैं पहले, उस पर एक छोटा सा डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ हॉर्टिकल्चर का लगा है, और एक बहुत बड़ा सा इंडस्ट्री डिपार्टमेंट में ने बिहटा में लगाया है. लैंडलॉक्ड स्टेट होने के कारण वी नीड सच टाइप ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एट एवरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल, जो एक बड़ा सा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है वो. और छोटा जिस तरह हम लोगों का, या अमूल की बात करें जो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी ट्रिपल लेयर की है, और उसी बेस पे हमारे यहाँ भी जो वेजिटेबल की सोसाइटी है वो ट्रिपल लेयर कोऑपरेटिव स्ट्रक्चर में है. तो तीनों लेयर पे जब देखें तो पैक हाउस के डिज़ाइन में या पैक हाउस के स्ट्रेंथ में अगर उसको मॉडरेटली कंसीडर किया जाए, तो पंचायत लेवल का कलेक्शन सेंटर के साथ वाला पार्ट एक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, ब्लॉक लेवल जहां हमारी प्राइमरी वेजिटेबल कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज़ हैं उसके लिए जो एक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट है, और जो हम लोग एक हब क्रिएट कर रहे हैं डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे उसके लिए. तो मोर और लेस हम लोगों ने इस बार अपने बजट में भी, चूँकि मिथिला सब्जी संघ का कार्यक्षेत्र 5 डिस्ट्रिक्ट का है, दरभंगा, मधुबनी, सहरसा, सुपौल और मधेपुरा, तो 3 डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ऑलमोस्ट लैंड हम लोगों की अवेलेबल हो गई है। सेक्रेटरी सर से बात चल रही है, जो हम लोगों ने डीपीआर प्रपोज किया है विद द हेल्प ऑफ AEEE और यूनेप। और निश्चित तौर पे इस तरह के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की ज़रूरत इसलिए भी है क्योंकि जो नेशनल एवरेज वेस्टेज का दिख रहा है 18%, वो अगर केवल बिहार की बात करें तो 30 से 35% है इन केस ऑफ वेजिटेबल। और वो केवल और केवल एक ज़रूरत है इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, जिस पे हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं, बहुत तेज़ी से काम कर रहे हैं। होप कि बहुत जल्दी आगे हम लोग इस पर बढ़ेंगे। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Madhavendra ji, for your experience that we have had of designing this very innovative DPR. And I would like to share that also, if with permission of Madhavendra ji, that this has been actually been endorsed and by the Department of Cooperative in Bihar, and they are trying to replicate it in 5 pack houses, and they've allocated funds for this from the Department of Cooperative, which is a huge success in a state like Bihar where there's a huge gap in cold chain. And I think this is the initiative that is with the efforts of Madhavendra ji and his team. So we look forward to such more models and pipeline of projects in states and also other states in India. With that, my next question is directed towards Khushbu, who is also been part of our team in developing that pack house guidelines. On the guidelines itself, Khushbu, which are the aspects that are covered in the pack house design guidelines, and what is the need of these design guidelines? If you can answer that, thank you.
Thanks, Anshuman. So ideally, we were to present these guidelines in the form of presentation in the session, but with the time that we have, I'll maybe just talk about some of the aspects that we have covered in the guidelines. So even before we get to the guidelines, it's important to understand energy, kahan consumption ho rahi hai pack house mein, and how we can help in terms of mitigating those things, reducing the energy consumption even when the pack house is being constructed. So the approach that we have followed in developing these guidelines is lean, mean and green approach. Lean is the term when we use when we are developing a pack house, building a pack house, uska orientation kaisa hai, wo kahan par locate kar rahe hai, what are the different chambers that are you placing and where are you placing it in the pack house. So construction time pe if you can lean out the energy consumption of that pack house, वो अपने आप में एनर्जी कई सारी एफिशिएंसी मेजर्स अडॉप्ट हो जाते हैं. रफली a little less than 10% of energy efficiency measures can be adopted, or energy savings can be reflected if we work on this lean approach in the terms of developing or building the pack house. Then comes the mean approach, where we talk about how the equipments that are being installed, how the different machineries that are being placed, we can help in terms of reducing the energy efficiency, reducing the energy savings, increasing the energy savings and reducing the energy cost that is in the pack house. So roughly 30% of the energy can be saved if the right sort of equipments are being implemented in the pack house, as well as monitoring system is in place, control systems are in place, which can help in digitally seeing what are the aspects, where are the places where the energy consumption is happening more and can be controlled. Then comes the green aspect, that's about adopting renewable energy aspects. So the guidelines that we were just discussing had a lot of solar component, that how the solar integration can happen, which can again help in reducing the requirement for energy. The other aspect in pack houses, so I'll step a little back and then talk about pack house. Anshuman has already talked about कि pack house ज़रूरत कहाँ पर है. It is just outside the farm gate. But pack house में होता क्या क्या है? The pack house में आप जो produce लेकर आते हो, it is converted into a marketable good. तो आपका sorting वहाँ पर होगा, grading वहाँ पर होगा, packaging होगा, and then you have these smaller cold rooms where it is stored for a transition time. And that is the place जहाँ पर सबसे ज़्यादा energy consumption होता है. So there's a packing hall which does not require a lot of energy. There's a pre-cooling chamber that requires a lot of energy. There's a staging room which requires a lot of energy. So these are the two chambers जिनको अगर आपने जिनका heat load calculation कितना होना है, कितना energy वहाँ पर consume हो रहा है, accordingly आप refrigeration system place करोगे तो you'll save a lot of energy in that sense. And then the way you are designing the packing hall, from where the supply is going, where is the how the material as well as resource are being handled, that itself plays a lot of role in terms of not just energy savings but also in saving from any sort of contamination. So I think those are some of the aspects we took care while we were developing these guidelines. As part of our earlier project that was in collaboration with World Bank, where we've identified these measures, where we have identified these components where energy efficiency can be incorporated, and that's how we've tried to come up with these guidelines and included those aspects. Thank you.
Thank you, Khushbu. I think with this, I think we can just start this, Mentimeter exercise, where we can give some time to the audience to answer the questions. In the meantime, we can have a rapid fire with our panelists as well for 30 seconds each. But we can start the Mentimeter questions.
So maybe just a heads up on the Mentimeter. Why are we talking about these national policies and standards for pack houses, for any sort of cold chain components? It's a small poll that we are requesting you to please answer. There'll be a small scan code appearing on the screen. Please scan it from your mobile phones. You can open the camera and scan it. And the polls will be reflected right away.
Yeah. So I think in the meantime, you are answering the Mentimeter questions. So I would just like to ask our panelists few rapid fire questions, and I will give you just 30 seconds to answer it. We'll start with Arijit Z. Arijit, if you had to redesign India's pack house ecosystem from scratch today, what is the one energy principle you would make non-negotiable?
Thank you for posing this question. I mean, when we think about a pack house, the energy efficiency interventions that can happen thereon, I mean, three things usually comes to our mind. One is, of course, the insulation. Second is the equipments that Khushbu was referring to. And third is probably the refrigeration system. Of course, I am excluding the renewable part here on. And if I have to pick one of those, I think insulation is probably the key to the cooling stage and also to the staging chamber. Because if we have a proper insulation in place, that will enable us to reduce the cooling demand in a large way, which will in turn result in energy savings and CO2 savings as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Arijit Ji. I mean, Arijit Ji has been a big support in the whole pack house design guidelines and taking it forward. And thank you for your leadership. And my next question is to Mr. Sumit. If you can answer it in 30 seconds. If NCUI had to pilot one replicable model of cooperative pack house tomorrow, what would it look like, and what would you deliberately do differently?
So as I already discussed, I'm not a technical expert to see what will be the exact architecture model like, but we'll be focusing on something which is catering to the needs of the farmers and also to the needs of the market.
Thank you, Sumit. And my next question to Madhavendra Ji. What do farmers usually underestimate when planning to set up and operate a pack house?
Okay, thank you. Actually, पैक हाउस को हम एक केवल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ना देख के उसको अगर हम ऐसे देखें कि वो एक रॉ वेजिटेबल सेलर को एक मार्केट पार्टिसिपेंट के रूप में कन्वर्ट कर रहा है, तब उसकी जो एक्चुअल वैल्यू है वो फार्मर्स को भी पता चलेगी और हमें भी पता चलेगा। वो जो वैल्यू क्रिएट कर रहा है ना, ये एक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वो उसको कन्वर्ट कर रहा है, उसके लाइवलीहुड को, उसके सस्टेनेबिलिटी को, उसके पूरे इकोसिस्टम को कन्वर्ट कर रहा है। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Madhavendra Ji. I think, do we have the Mentimeter questions, or the answers are there already? And I think I will ask Khushbu to give the reflections from the panelists. on the inputs.
So in the meantime, the Mentimeter poll is coming up. I'll just maybe also talk about that a lot of times these guidelines are, or guidelines or any sort of standards are developed in isolation. What we tried to do differently in this experiment, in this setup, was that we also wanted to involve the beneficiaries and talk about what are some of the challenges that they might see after the guidelines are being to implement. Not just the beneficiaries, but also the industry players, also the people who will be building these pack houses in the future. So those were made part of these discussions to get some perspective from them. So we can see the poll result.
I hope you have scanned the QR. In case you're not able to scan the QR, please let us know.
We can definitely see that a lot stress has been given on how the losses can be reduced and how farmers can benefit out of it. And I think that is the whole idea of these standards and guidelines. I would also ask my fellow panelists to reflect on that, but just one thing to that, that these standardization also create a mechanism to just replicate what has been proved. So these standards are also providing a way to reduce a lot of wastage, a lot of losses that are happening prior to what the producers, prior to the produce reaches to the consumers. I'll maybe request Arijit sir to add some reflection on the poll. Amir, you can keep showing the poll.
Yeah, so the highest is like reduced losses and higher farmer income. So yes, as I was mentioning about like energy efficiency and energy efficient practices, if you are able to reduce the electricity demands, it will of course make the developers save more on the energy, the input cost, and that will ultimately result in more profitability. So I think the audience has correctly pointed out also that feature. So ultimately it will not only result in reduction of the food losses, but also at the same time will result in improving the farmers' income as well.
Martin, any reflections?
नहीं वो सिमिलर है जो हम लोगों ने लास्ट में बात किया कि बहुत छोटा छोटा चेंज जो है वो बड़े रिजल्ट को लाता है। और एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल लेते हैं, अभी किसी भी मंडी में आप जाएंगे, वो चाहे आज़ादपुर का हो या हमारे यहाँ का सुभाष चौक का मंडी हो, सब्जियां बोरी में ही आती हैं आज भी। और जो गाइडलाइन है वो बोरी से प्लास्टिक बैग से वो शिफ्ट हो रहा है प्लास्टिक क्रेट में। जो ट्रांजिशन लॉस है ना, ऑटोमेटिकली 10 से 12% का केवल एक चेंज से आ सकता है। और वो 10 से 12% अगर फार्मर्स के पॉकेट में जाता है तो वो एक बड़ा चेंज है। 30-35% का जो लॉस है वो एक जगह से लॉस नहीं है, वो मल्टी स्टेजेज लॉस है। तो एक छोटा सा चेंज बहुत बड़ा वो डायनामिक्स चेंज कर सकता है फार्मर्स के इनकम में, उनकी सस्टेनेबिलिटी में। थैंक यू।
Sumit ji, would you like to reflect on that? Okay, thank you. Anshuman, any reflections from your side?
No, I think the biggest challenge is food loss and how obviously the whole cold chain is supposed to bring down cold chain, the food loss down. And pack house is a starting point of any cold chain where the food loss really can be curtailed to the minimum. And I think there is the first point of entry for any fresh produce where the cooling is introduced first time to any product. So I think there pre-cooling plays a huge role, as I'm saying that how pre-cooling brings down the core temperature of produce to the set point, and how it can travel beyond in the cold chain at a maintained temperature till it reaches the consumer. So I think that brings down losses considerably, and I think today that intervention at the farm level is very important. I think we are working towards that, and this is where the starting point of a coal supply chain starts, and we need to make it more efficient. Thank you. The next question on the Mentimeter. So I think we have some time, and I think we can ask some questions to the audience as well. Any reflections from the audience, any questions to the panelists, we'll be happy to take it. Anyone in the panel?
I mean, pack houses is able to, maintain the quality of the, produce that way.
एक्चुअली सर आप दो चीज़ों को मिक्स कर रहे हैं। पहला मिक्स ये है, जो पेस्टिसाइड वाला जो आपने बात बताया, वो प्री हार्वेस्ट वाला एक पोर्शन है जो ड्यूरिंग द क्रॉपिंग सीजन हम लोग यूज करते हैं, और जो दूसरा पक्ष है आपके प्रश्न का, वो है पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट से रिलेटेड। पहले पक्ष में ये होता है कि एक्सेसिव यूज ऑफ पेस्टिसाइड के कारण जो सेल्फ लाइफ है वेजिटेबल्स की, वो निश्चित तौर पे घट जाती है। लेकिन उसको अगर थोड़ा सा अलग रखें तो अगर नॉर्मल कंडीशन में देखें तो पैक हाउस पूरा का पूरा इकोसिस्टम बना रहा है हमारे पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट लॉसेस को लेके या मार्केट तक जो हम पहुंच रहे हैं उसको लेके। तो दोनों का थोड़ा सा डिफरेंशिएशन।
नहीं, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट ह्यूमिडिटी आल्सो। समटाइम्स द पैक हाउसेस देयर इज एक्सेसिव ह्यूमिडिटी, टेम्परेचर इज नॉट
कंट्रोल, पूरा का पूरा कंट्रोल सिस्टम है। जिस सब्जी की जितनी डिमांड है, ज़रूरत है टेम्परेचर की, उसको उसी टेम्परेचर पर लंबे समय तक हम लोग रख सकते हैं। और
मॉइस्चर एंड एवरीथिंग,
ह्यूमिडिटी, सारे
मॉइस्चर एंड मॉइस्चर एवरीथिंग।
इसमें एक पैक हाउस की क्या कॉस्ट आएगी भाई साहब?
इसमें एक सेकंड, बस एक चीज़ आपके मैं और ऐड करूँगी कि जो ह्यूमिडिटी और कई जगह पे लीकेज का चैलेंज होता है, जब बहुत अच्छे से कोल्ड स्टोरेजेस, पैक हाउसेस नहीं रखे जाते हैं, जो उनका ऑपरेशन है वो बहुत ध्यान से नहीं हो रहा है, जो प्रोसेसेस हैं, ये स्टैंडर्डाइज प्रोसेस है, वो फॉलो नहीं हो रहे, तब आपको सीलन, ह्यूमिडिटी या फिर आप यू सी द चैलेंजेस ऑफ रेफ्रिजरेंट लीकेज, अदरवाइज नॉट।
एक पैक हाउस की कॉस्ट क्या आएगी और उसका ऑपरेशन खर्चा क्या होगा?
ऑपरेशनल खर्चे के बारे में अभी बहुत ज़्यादा डिटेल में नहीं बात कर सकते हैं, लेकिन जो बनाने का जो कॉस्ट आ रहा है, जो अभी हम लोग इनिशिएट कर रहे हैं, उसमें 3.4 CR 3.5 CR ऑलमोस्ट, और उसमें हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं 15 मेट्रिक टन पर डे का। वो जो थ्रूपुट कैपेसिटी है पर डे की, वो 15 मेट्रिक टन हम लोग।
I'll just answer that question in a more logical way, in a way that is again more connected with the throughput, as he is saying, 15 metric ton. So throughput decides the amount and the size of the pack house. The size of the pack house can be a 10 metric ton also, where there is a throughput of 10 metric ton or 5 metric ton per day. It depends on that area where the production is happening, volume of what is the supply coming into the pack house every day. And depending on that, you can start from a 1.5 CR to 2 CR as well, right? But because here we are designing a large pack house with a throughput capacity of huge quantity, and almost I think 55 metric ton of pre-cooling and storage and staging room connected with reefer. So I think that's where the cost, and also because a large part of it is also the cost for renewable energy integration. We are putting solar energy, and it is 100% net zero pack house. So it is not going to take any energy from the grid. So that's that's a plus point there.
भाई साहब 100% नेट जीरो तो हो जाएगा, लेकिन जब 3 से 5 CR की कॉस्ट खर्च की जाएगी, उसके बाद में किसान को फ़ायदा कैसे होगा? फ़ायदा होने के चांसेस तो 5 CR की कॉस्ट आते ही ख़त्म हो गया।
जब इस तरह का, इसको अब 2 पार्ट में रखते हैं। पहला पार्ट एक पैक हाउस के स्ट्रक्चर को लेकर रखते हैं, दूसरा पार्ट एनर्जी इफिशियंसी को रखते हैं।
एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी पे बाद में बात करते हैं, पहले एक चीज़ पे करें।
नहीं, मैं उसी पे आ रहा हूँ, थोड़ा सा पेशेंस रखें। है क्या कि अब दो पार्ट मैंने इसीलिए कहा क्योंकि आपकी कॉस्टिंग डिफरेंस हो जाएगी। आपको दो तरह से सब्सिडी आप अवेल कर सकते हैं। एक तो एनर्जी इफिशियंसी का जो आपने सिस्टम अडॉप्ट किया उसकी आपको सब्सिडी अलग तरीके से मिल जाएगी, और पैक हाउस जो आप बनवा रहे हैं उसकी सब्सिडी 35 से 50% नॉर्मल केसेस में एनएचबी के द्वारा दिया जाता है। तो ये सब्सिडी आपको अलग आ जाएगी। अब जब आपका कॉस्ट 50% या इस पे आ जाता है तो अगर आप उसके रोटेशन, अभी मैं राउरकेला में था, 1 रुपीज़ पर क्रेट पर डे का उनका रेंटिंग था। 30 मीट्रिक टन की कुल स्टोरेज है और इस तरह का रेंटिंग उन्होंने अडॉप्ट किया है। अगर सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन में अगर हम लोग रेंटिंग मॉडल को लेके आगे बढ़ जाते हैं तो आप 3 साल में पैसा जो है उसको रिकवर कर सकते हैं।
भाई साहब
जी,
अगर हम पैक हाउस पे ही जाना चाह रहे हैं और नेचुरल पैक हाउस पे जाएं तो कॉस्टिंग भी कम हो सकती है और नेट जीरो पे भी जाया जा सकता है। इट्स
इतना
कॉस्ट
आइडिया नहीं है
मैं
सर
बता रहा हूँ
हमको।
सर, क्योंकि मैं बेसिकली एक फार्मर हूँ,
हम लोग भी वही हैं।
गवर्नमेंट ऑफ राजस्थान से मल्टीपल टाइम अवार्डेड हूँ, ऑर्गेनिक और इनोवेटिव फार्मिंग करता हूँ। अगर सब्सिडी देनी है तो उस किसान को छोटे स्तर पे दीजिए, लगभग 25,000 रुपये से 35,000 रुपये दीजिए, जिसमें एक पैक हाउस बना सकता है वो 10 बाई 20 का और जीरो कॉस्ट पे, जिसका कोई ऑपरेशनल खर्चा ही नहीं है। इस पे जाइए
तो
अगर
उसमें
रियल में
subsidy
बेनिफिशियली
available
काम करना है तो।
आई जस्ट वांट टू से
10 बाई 20 का
बोलते हैं उसे, तो उसका सब्सिडी अवेलेबल है आपका MIDH की तरफ से।
10 बाई 15 का एक पैक हाउस वो बनाए जो अपने खेत में खड्डा खोद करके ज़मीन से 6 फीट नीचे का, और उसको ईंटों की चिनाई का पैसा और ऊपर पॉली का पैसा दे दीजिए बस। उसमें टेम्परेचर ऑटोमेटिक कंट्रोल रहेगा, किसी भी प्रकार की किसी चीज़ की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है।
It's well taken. I mean, it's already covered in the government guidelines, low cost.
सर गवर्नमेंट की
energy.
गाइडलाइन में तो बहुत कुछ है,
Yeah.
लेकिन
So I
कभी
think-
काम भी हुआ है
तो मैं
बहुत
ये
सी
कह रहा हूँ,
चीज़ों पे।
support available
आज
है।
हम दिल्ली की बात करें
हाँ।
जिसमें बार बार में पराली पे बात की
No, I
जाती
think
है,
we
ब्लेमिंग
should-
होती है वो
I
एक
think
तरह
we
से
should
देखा
give
जाए
some
तो,
time to other
लेकिन
participants as well. Please,
रिजल्ट
I think
पे काम
आपने
होता ही नहीं है।
2-3 क्वेश्चन पूछ लिए। If you
सर
can
मैं आपसे
direct
रिक्वेस्ट
some
करूंगा
other
अगर आप
person in
लंच,
this,
अभी इसके बाद हमारा नेटवर्किंग लंच है, इफ यू कैन टेक दिस डिस्कशन।
But Vivek, here's a point. See, we are not only talking about the guidelines which are going to the ground level. We should also understand the experiences which is coming from the ground.
Correct.
That is very important. See, the outcome is important, not the process. Whether it's coming through what Madhavendra is saying or whether what he is saying, if you give it something which is decentralized, that always helps. Because it's not easy to manage 3 crore, 5 crore warehouse.
Correct.
That holds good for waste management or any field. This thing, if you are doing it at farmer level, that is always helpful.
So Sumit ji, and thank you for your question. यहाँ पर हम जो डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं that is oriented towards energy efficient pack houses. आप जो सोल्यूशन बता रहे हैं वो एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, ऐसे और स्मॉलर डिसेंट्रलाइज सोल्यूशंस भी हैं, बट आई थिंक यहाँ पर हमारा जो फोकस है कि इस तरह के बड़े इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आ रहे हैं, बड़े इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में एनर्जी कंजम्पशन ज़्यादा रहता है, तो क्यों ना हम उसको बनाएं ही ऐसा कि वो एनर्जी एफिशिएंट हो, वो ऑन द स्टार्ट उसका डिमांड एनर्जी का कम हो। दैट वाज द आइडिया बिहाइंड इट।
इस पे मैं ऐड करते हुए सर एक चीज़ ऐड कर देता हूँ। सिंस मिथिला यूनियन है तो ये अभी पैक हाउस पे मेरे ख्याल से 5 से 6 साल के बाद आए। दिस स्टार्टेड विथ 5 MT का छोटा माइक्रो कोल्ड रूम, 10 MT का कोल्ड रूम, और अब जाके इनका 13 to 14,000 फार्मर्स का एक वेजिटेबल फार्मर्स का यूनियन है जिसके लिए ये पैक हाउस डिज़ाइन कर रहे हैं अभी एट प्रेजेंट। आपने जो डिसेंट्रलाइज बोला तो दिस इज़ व्हाट दे स्टार्टेड विथ 5-6 years बैक एंड नाउ दे हैव ग्रेजुएटेड कि अब इनके पास उतना क्वांटम है कि वो उस पैक हाउस को उस तरीके से रन कर सकते हैं। आई एम श्योर आपका सजेशन भी बहुत अच्छा था, उसको हम लोग मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली अभी just after this session we have a networking lunch, we can discuss, we can take this over there.
A very small question, sir.
Please.
Can a list of all the locations where such pack houses are being planned be shared with the actual farmer producer organizations?
I think there is an initiative from NHB side. NHB has actually on their website mapped out all the cold chain locations across India. So I think you can go to NHB website and you can map out those.
Thank you.
Anything that is coming up new as well is actually integrated in that.
Thank you.
Shubham?
Any more questions from the audience?
Yeah, just one question. So I think we are discussing about the pack houses thing, but what we have also seen that means pack house is sort of a one aspect of the entire infrastructure network, and what we have seen that means once the pack house is also is set up, but again that sort of a transport network means to send that sort of a produce from the farm to the market level is also sort of a very much essential. Otherwise, farmers means they don't sort of a trust if that network is not there. They sort of prefer to sell directly into the market. So are we also talking about the other sort of components, the efficiency components, other infrastructure thing, not only the pack house thing, but also the reefer network, the larger hub network, and all those things.
Yeah, we are definitely talking about, as I mentioned in my opening remarks as well, that pack house definitely is one component of the entire cold chain infrastructure. So we need to have cold storages, we need to have ripening chambers, and we also need to have the reefer transport. Right now, the only thing that is present in the country is a cold storage. In fact, when we started this project, of course, आप लोग तो खुद ग्राउंड लेवल से तो आप लोगों को समझ जल्दी आ जाएगी, बट हम लोग जब बात करते थे तो ये सेग्रीगेशन करना मुश्किल होता था कि कोल्ड चेन क्या है और कोल्ड स्टोरेज क्या है. मतलब लोगों के लिए ये समझना थोड़ा मुश्किल होता था. पर आई थिंक ये आपने बिल्कुल सही पूछा कि जैसे अभी हमने पैक हाउस पे कंसंट्रेट करना शुरू किया, बाकी अब राइपनिंग चैम्बर्स और जो रेफर ट्रांसपोर्ट उसमें भी काम चल रहा है. और आपका जो एनसीसीडी का भी जो गाइडलाइंस आया पिछले साल जो जनवरी के महीने में जो लॉन्च हुआ था, उसमें ये सारे कंपोनेंट्स आर कवर्ड टू सम एक्सटेंट और द अदर. बट यस, जैसे पैक हाउस में हमने डीप डाइव किया, ये भी ज़रूरी है कि वी नीड टू डीप डाइव इनटू द राइपनिंग चैम्बर्स एंड द अदर रेफर ट्रांसपोर्ट एज वेल. कोल्ड स्टोरेज जहाँ तक जो एग्जिस्टिंग कोल्ड स्टोरेज है उसको भी हम मॉडर्नाइज करने के लिए उसको भी हम और एफिशिएंट कैसे बनाएं, उसके लिए हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जैसे हमारा पैट स्कीम है पापो छोटे इंडस्ट्री के लिए, तो पैट ट्रेडिंग तो हम नहीं कर पाएंगे क्योंकि ये बहुत छोटे स्तर पर होता है. बट व्हाट वी विल आर लुकिंग फॉर इज दैट इफ यू कैन हैव सम एसीसी रिडक्शन, एटलीस्ट सम डिक्लेरेशन फ्रॉम देयर साइड, तो दैट वी आर वर्किंग आउट व्हाट कैन बी बेस्ट फॉर देम. तो ये सब चीज़ें हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जल्द से जल्द इसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाए.
जस्ट कंटिन्यूइंग टू द सर कि पैक हाउस एक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की तरह से ना लेके एक इकोसिस्टम की तरह से अगर हम लोग लेते हैं, जो हम लोग अभी ग्राउंड पे कर रहे हैं, तहसील लेवल पे हम एक मंडी टाइप का, एक मार्केट टाइप का क्रिएट कर रहे हैं हम लोग हर ब्लॉक में. तो अब क्या है कि उसका जो अभी अंशुमन सर के साथ बात हुई कि 15 मेट्रिक टन का थ्रूपुट वाला एक हम लोगों को एक ये टारगेट है. तो ग्राउंड लेवल पे इधर पंचायत लेवल, विलेज लेवल, वहाँ पे हम लोगों को कलेक्शन पॉइंट्स क्रिएट करके वो कलेक्ट करके एक सॉर्ट ऑफ हब यहाँ क्रिएट करना है. तो दैट्स द एक्चुअल मीनिंग ऑफ पैक हाउस कि वो उसको एक हब के रूप में हम ट्रीट करके और एक बेटर प्राइस रियलाइजेशन फार्मर्स को भी हो और कंज्यूमर को भी एक अच्छा प्रोड्यूस जो है सो अवेलेबल हो. तो उसका एक बहुत बड़ा माध्यम जो है सो पैक हाउस हो सकता है, जिसके लिए हम लोग काम करते हैं.
And to just add, this last point here is that every pack house, has to have connectivity with reefer and towards not only reefer by transport and road, but rail and air and shipping, any sort of transport that connects produce to the market. The whole idea of a cold chain is a logistical intervention, basically connecting to distant markets and catering to those markets which are not in the immediate vicinity of that producing area. So for example, if today Mithila Union is producing something, it should be available also through a pack house, through a reefer transport, through a cold chain hub in Bangalore or Chennai or any other parts of the world. So that is the whole idea of cold chain, to reach places where we cannot reach without the technological intervention of cold chain. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, speakers. Thank you, audience. I'm sure there would be many questions. You can take it in the networking lunch that is followed by this session. Since we are at the end of the session, I would request all the speakers on the stage for a group photograph. If you could just come forward. Amir? Thank you, speakers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.